yes, it looks as though we may struggle to... We don't actually have a claim on the Stormlands at the moment either. I'm hoping that that will come with time just from being a Baratheon, but... well, and an heir to someone who had a strong claim, I guess, on the Stormlands. But it hasn't given it me yet. Oh, goodness. It's really difficult to take care of things properly when your ruler's 6 or 7 years old. There we go, okay. So we get the generated message that says we've got our claim on the Stormlands, Shipbreaker Bay, and Storm's End. Unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but unusually it says at the bottom of it, winter is coming, which are the Stark words. Baratheon words are ours is the fury. I'm not sure why it says winter is coming for an event that's designed specifically for the Baratheons because of their claim on Stormlands. It's a very strange message to, well, conflicting sort of message to get. So yes, we have a claim on the Stormlands and a claim on Dawn, strangely enough, but it's a weak one. I hope we don't end up not getting either Dawn or the Stormlands. That would be bad. Well, it'd essentially scupper me. I'd have to look for some sort of other marriage again. Oh god, that would be such a setback. Let's not think about that now. I'm pretty certain that we're still heir to Dawn. Indeed, we are. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so when Arianne dies, hopefully soon, we should inherit it. She's 48 now. Stannis died at the ripe old age of 51. Stannis I, that is. Stannis II was about, I don't know, 12. More realistically, I think it was 29, but... slight drawback. Our betrothed happens to be a homosexual. Oh. Oh, we discovered somebody was corrupt, and we've basically just extorted 50 gold from them, which is an awful lot, but still. Getting back to the other point, the homosexuality is only really bad because it sort of reduces the fertility bonus. Obviously. But the Baratheons have always proven themselves to be virile sorts, so I'm pretty sure there won't be much of a problem. Okay. So Stannis has gained the content trait. We're very much still shaping this character up, I suppose. It is good in a way to keep a track of everything that's happening, because I think occasionally you get some events with choices in it that can help shape your character, rather than just like having this fairly randomly generated sun being presented to you. So I'm hoping that we'll get to know Stannis III quite well. Interesting thing about the Reach, doesn't seem to be in Tyrell hands anymore, but all of the Tyrells will presumably have a strong claim to it. I very much suspect that there will be some sort of form of rebellion against the House Meadows at some point or other. Really low-res picture of Rickon, I think, there. And then Stannis and Stannis are friends. Funnily enough, they're basically like the same age, but Stannis is Stannis' uncle. Why didn't I think about how relationships and lineage would work before I named every single character Stannis? Daughters don't really seem to fare well within this family. Stannis II had a daughter that died. Stannis with a Y has a daughter that died. Most of the surviving children tend to be sons, and quite a lot of them as well. Looks like there's a bit more strife in the Riverlands. It looks like Old Stones. Oh, sugar. Robb is now Lord Paramount of the Riverlands. Ned Stark's still alive. Gotten slightly better at fighting there. Ned Stark's still alive, so he's Lord Paramount of the North, but Robb will inherit that as well. So, for the time being, Robb is just Lord Paramount of the Riverlands, and so he's just heading off the usual sort of rebellions and whatnot that come with earning a title. I mean, it's really almost, unanimously agreed upon that you're not really Lord of somewhere until you've fought off at least 2 or 3 rebellions. Oh, well, there we go. Dear nephew, may your years be short and miserable. Uncle Stannis with a Y has declared war. Looks like Shireen of Adadel will be accepting our plea for help. We have slightly more men than Uncle Stannis at our disposal, which is fortunate. If I can sort of wrangle them all together in time, that is. We can request liege intervention, but to be honest, I prefer to win this war because it will give me a bonus with my vassals, and I'd really not want to worry about like whether or not the king is going to intervene for like a bigger future rebellion. I want to be able to deal with this myself. And it is something that seems realistically possible to deal with as well. They have about 1,200 men. I think we have more than that just by ourselves, but there's another 1,000 marching up from Adadel there, as you can see. So we should be alright. Getting quite efficient at moving all these things in the same place now. Ah, fantastic. Stannis III has become a trained fighter now, which is pretty good for a 7-year-old. So that's 1,600 men. That's all of our forces. We're probably going to see if we can cut them off on the way to Stonedance, which has succeeded because travelling by boat's a lot faster than anything else. And sure enough, they've actually attacked us in Stonedance. They didn't change their course, they just went ahead and carried on the attack. Now we do have that problem with the weak flanks because the Dragonstone levies are so much larger in number than everything else and can't be split up into different groups, but there he goes. Alright, so we lost 476 and he lost 800 men. That's a 100% war score right there. And so we can enforce our demands. And it's over. We've imprisoned our uncle for good measure. Now we can banish him, or we can release him, which is what I'm going to do. Stannis III will be known as strong but benevolent, I think. Hopefully. There's really no telling how these kids will turn out. Even when you are them. Excellent, so Stannis III is now a squire. And he's also zealous, apparently. He's a religious man. Which isn't something that's been a particular trait of Stannis I. Stannis II we barely knew. But he is zealous. A lot of neutral and good traits there. He's trusting, content, and zealous. He's a trained fighter and a squire. And only 7 years old. That's a complex 7-year-old. I've got high hopes for Stannis III. Yep, our army levies have already recovered because of the bonus, so we've got like 2,000 men at our disposal now. Which was more than we had before we fought that war. So that should say something about how much more people think of us. Think of me. I don't know. Would you prefer if I just kept using like the first person? I want to involve people. It's probably a good idea to keep an eye on the Starks, because they're probably going to be the biggest threat to my my rise to power. Well, not my rise to power, but my my battle for the throne, certainly. Oh, Lord Paramount of the Westlands is actually a Frey. Not sure how that ended up happening. Maybe one of Jenna Lannister's sons or something? In fact, Tion, I think, was, but... Quite surprising that the Freys have found themselves Lords of the Westlands so quickly. Then again, the Bucklers control the Stormlands, and what have they ever done? Ah, Lady Paramount of the Vale is also a Frey, actually. They're very ubiquitous, these Freys. So apparently some child mocked us and we punched him in the face, so now we have Wrath, which is one of the 7 deadly sins. But seem to have lost it almost immediately and gained the Patient trait instead, which is much better. Look at those bonuses. Brilliant. I knew you could be counted on, Stannis III, and also Cedric Waters, who is tutoring us. I have a feeling that's sort of an event that would have been generated for us, and we try and like teach him the virtues of patience or something after that happens, and if we're lucky, the patience thing comes up, and it has come up, so Very fortunate to have such an able tutor. We also squire for him, so... looks like Stannis is also learning well. Here's that family. I think I managed to make an entire family go extinct, by the way. House Tarth doesn't seem to have any living heirs. I mean, Brienne had children who survived, I think, but they were Meadows, not Tarths. So yeah, I completely took out that family. In the end, for nothing as well. I don't know if I should feel bad about that. Also, we appear to have a claim on Wendwater, which is fantastic. I show you no reason not to press that claim. We may have to wait a very short while for our troops to gain in numbers, but yeah, they do have a fair few at their disposal, but hopefully soon we'll be able to claim that province, which would be nice.